Are we all? Hey, welcome, welcome. Today is Thursday. It's 14:30 UTC. You know what that means? It means it's open spaces time for the Gimbal Labs community. A community is such kind of a weird word. We're just people around here. I sometimes like to say, hey, it's just us chickens. And I think was it Lewis was just like, I've never heard that. And it's just like a little phrase. It's like we're just here in the hen house, just doing chickeny things. And chickeny things to me is building on the Cardano network and solving meaningful problems out there in the world. Um, One of the things that I like to talk about here is I want to tell you that it's a 90-minute session. You on YouTube, it might be a little less than that. If you show up in person, which you're welcome to do, and you can find the link on our calendar at gimbalabs.com. So this 90-minute session is it's like a shared space. It's like my space, it's your space, it's everybody's space, where we learn and coordinate. And we also do this consent-based decision making around proposals. Why we do this is to stay connected, share updates, which we've just done a little bit in our in a check-in round. We explore new ideas and we get involved with governance, consent-based governance. By doing this, everybody gets aligned and we get to understand and evolve that understanding of what our purpose is. And one of the things I like to do is to read this purpose out, and that is to provide open, replicable, safe spaces for people everywhere to learn, to explore, and to empower one another to solve meaningful problems. Um, that's what we're here to do. And does everybody feel ready to do that for the next hour or so? Harsha gives me a thumbs up. People are nodding. I'm nodding. Okay, looking around. Uh, you know, One thing, because you may know that you may know the Gimbal Labs as the education, but we also are also a D-rep, and I wanted to briefly look around our our D-rep space, which is on this window, which is on this proposal. So this is the one of the tools that we built. One of the problems that we solve, we feel, and that's the DREP. Being a DREP, Gimbal Labs is a DREP, and these are all of the proposals to be voted on. Does anybody see one that they're like, ooh, this one's like something to talk about? And we give ourselves a few minutes here at the top just to refresh and look at them, and I can. Or maybe somebody can read them out because I'm constantly talking.
Read them out as in just the names of the proposals.
Oh no, yeah, like here's this net change limit. Yeah, is any the one that I voted on this week was this naming the protocol version hard fork to for Max van Rossum, the Dutch guy who passed away. Um, does anybody have any strong feelings about any of these? The This Cardano DeFi liquidity budget. Remember, this one's like a two-parter where they first had the info action. I thought that one might be some hot drama.
I'm just curious, how many of us actually read proposals and actively vote on proposals? Like I'm genuinely curious.
Before or
Yeah.
after they're voted on? Which one? You have to clarify. Before or after?
Ideally, it should be before. I think that's how it works. I think that's how it works.
Chicken and egg, cart or horse. Either way, we don't know what we're doing with the farm. We're
Yeah.
better off. Yeah, it's Animal Farm, or Charlotte's Web at this point. Let's go back and learn how to read the signs here. If I may here, just on the naming the hard fork.
Yeah. Yeah.
I support it.
Yeah.
I don't want to see more hard forks named after friends and colleagues. I I hope this isn't a pattern. Um, One reason I'm also hesitant about naming of the hard fork because we just had this huge constitutional change. It's labeled a constitutional amendment was passed, but in my
Yeah.
opinion, it wasn't an amendment. There's no process in the Constitution. We just have a new Constitution. And Max and pseudoscientist Gabe and Mark Upstream Meta, they spent a lot of time in both Nairobi and in Buenos Aires getting that entire amendment, Articles 8 or Article 8, 9, and then parts 1, 2, and 3 in there. That language specifically, like honestly, working with Intersect and IOG to add something was quite difficult.
Yeah.
So part of me says naming this hard fork after Max after just changing the Constitution and erasing his participation based on AI. All right, I'm going to get fired up here a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think I
And I
know.
apologize.
Yeah,
I
no,
mentioned
no,
James'
no.
tweet in there. I don't know how to bring this type of stuff up delicately. I know that I can't hold it because it's not a delicate thing. So I brought it up. Um,
Yep, yep, yep. That's why we ask, and that's why it is. It's just like these are big things. Like this is changing the way. I mean, we have a unique thing with Cardano in the open governance, um, or this governance model that other chains don't have. This in my mind is a unique thing. And yeah, I saw this one go through in my circles quietly, you know. Dagwell, what do you got on this?
It's something that always gets me about Cardano, and it's something, I don't know, I don't have to, but whenever I hear Quasar speak, especially about something, that he gets passionate about, I always like to put a disclaimer out there because what we're hearing is somebody that's informed and engaged in the community, and that's kind of what we want to do. You want to build something that people are passionate about. So, like when I see tools like this, when I see the tools that we're working on, it puts us in an opportunity where we have the tools and information to really get informed. And hopefully, we're going to create, better consensus tools that allows us to see how other people are feeling. Because if we don't, I think we see that it ends up like getting charged because there's a lot of things that we've been talking about over and over again that we don't feel like it like come to fruition. So I think that it's very important to realize like, oh, there's passion there, there's understanding there, there's nuance there because there's a complex system there. And I think that's I always like to reframe when we're talking about what we're making because it's like a governance banking country type deal. And it does
Yeah,
get kind of heated sometimes. Thank
yeah, yeah. And that in as we sort of wind, because this is a huge section a segment, and we could talk about this all day. I do want to wind it down and sort of bring it back with saying they're a bit like what Dagwell is saying, and then addressing sort of cues like passion about it. Actually, I don't know if you guys are watching C-SPAN, but C-SPAN is like fantastic, and they just had this a guy on there that was talking about the concept of rage, and it was just like that. Rage is like a real emotion in when you're dealing with these things, and there has to be a place for you can call it passion or you can call it rage, but it's just like where things sort of break down. And what we talk about is like having tooling and this idea of getting communities engaged with their governance. I do want to just as we close up this, I want to mention because we built this tool, this governance DREP tool, but I want to quickly go over to our good friends at Mesh and Sedan Labs, and I'm going to find the link by going to the Mesh. Uh, where is there? Where is this? They just shouted it out in the announcements. Oh gosh, where is it? Do you know what I'm talking about? This guy, CGov, this guy, the CGov thing. It's basically a tool for DREP constituencies. They're doing it in it's just it's an evolved way. So I'm curious because it's open source and we can use this sort of model. Like they've got like all the different proposals in and like all the different constituencies, the DREPs, the SBOs, and the Constitutional Committee, all these sort of things. And I guess they're showing with this clip that it also has like light and dark mode, a couple of different tactical modes. But I'm hoping that the tooling can help us get better engaged as groups. Yeah, and that we can build on these things and we can make the tools fit us, which is one of the beautiful things about being a builder. Dagwell.
And I won't take too much. So me and Quiz, that's why we love doing these conversations, because we're also just building a tool. It'll be an open AI or an open API where you can also get your DREP information and how individual people have voted. We just want there to be like a little bit of accountability where you can just put in a DREP ID and it pulls back everything they voted for, why they voted for that, just in a simple place. I know everyone's building like similar tools. It's kind of like, do you like chopsticks or do you like fork? What do you like?
Yeah.
So we just want to make the information accessible. And Mesh, I remember when we were in these rooms watching Mesh being formed, literally. So yeah, like literally.
Dude,
So
Dagwell, Blockprint and Emmanuel and Jethro and Gideon, those guys all just created a group in Nigeria. It's sort of like the mesh of this group out of Lagos. Like those things are happening right now. Like right now, as we speak, new things, new groups like that are coming together and being formed. It's super beautiful.
I have some Nigerian artists on the ground who we even did a proposal with Catalyst like 4 years ago, and she's been able to like get like her camera, or I've been watching her build her repertoire, and like to be able to say, hey, there could be a local output for you to be able to demonstrate because I guess I'm like, hey, show me your work, and she'll be like, oh, these are my latest pictures and whatnot. So I want to try to support as much as I can there. And if you already have someone on the ground, especially if it's Mesh, we know them. That is fantastic. I'm so glad to see things getting legs that sprouted from here, and now they're getting wings. That's insane.
Absolutely. Q, what's going on now? Did you have your? You might be. Oh, you're muted, brother. Q.
Not to be the contentious one or the source of any undesirable tensions or feelings or emotions. I love Mesh, love what they're doing. They're a leader in the community. The naming of the tool, CGov, .app, the CGov specifically, is also the name that Mad Orchestra was using as another tool. And I brought it to their attention or to the community's attention. And I feel like we have to do some, is it policing or accountability or I don't know the right way to approach it. But I'm with what I did. It's anyway, if you wanted to go through Mesh's Discord and see the conversation or look on Twitter, you can see how it transpired. But ultimately, I mean, it's a pretty sexy tool, just like everything Mesh builds.
Yeah, that's right. And how is Mad Orchestra? Because I saw that group and we had Scott Ratio was around. He was sort of connecting us in with that group. And we kind of lost touch with them. It seemed, yeah. Is it?
Yeah.
But I'll look through that the naming with DGov.
It'd be me, creating Andamio, .qi or something.
Yeah.
Like I didn't steal your code, but does the name mean anything to you? Like that's your identity, kind of.
And I think that one of the things is like not left hand not knowing what the right hand is. And I mean, who knows if like it was they knew and then they did it anyway. Or I think there's a lot of overlap just because there's there's only so many names. But a small search, and I guess that's the other thing. If you do a search nobody's doing, web SEO. So like, how do you find projects? So what did we call it in blockchain? Collision. Like there's a collision.
Right. I think there's a level of due diligence that we could start to practice or work on as well to prevent these, collisions. It's a very simple
Yeah.
one. What's in the name and the title? Everything,
All right.
really. Yeah, but
So. All right. All right. Thank you so much. And I mean, look, good conversation starting up. Harsha, I want to be mindful of the time and with our announcements and other things. How are we feeling? I think.
We're okay, and unless there is like an urgent proposal, I think we are okay to have random conversations here.
So I feel like we've done our check-in round. I definitely want to do some announcements announcements kind of happen inside of the check-in rounds as people say, oh yeah, like Dagwell says, oh, I've got this governance tooling that I'm working on, and there's a creator and Aomi, I think, and the cats. We want to talk about like our contingent going over to the cats, and those would be an announcements. But our real focus here and what we really want to get from folks is if you have a proposal. So does anybody have like a new proposal that they've written or an idea for a proposal? We can make space for you. Before we get into big conversation, which is, am I sharing my screen? Yeah. Before we get down into like reviewing projects or big picture discussions, which I think, there's a good bit of big picture discussions, especially about Catalyst. Um, uh, do we have any proposals? Anybody like sitting there going like, ooh, I want to build something and I have opportunities for the people in this room. Now would be the time to say, hey, give me 5 minutes and we can adjust. Harsha and I can adjust. So I'm going to give everybody a minute, be like, oh, okay, are there any proposals coming around? Or without that, then we'll jump into some of these announcements. And you can always put that in the chat, or if you're like, if you're thinking, oh, maybe this isn't the week that I want to bring it up or whatever. Yeah, looking through the chats. Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's talk about, and you can always do that. You can always say, hey, look, I wanna bring out a proposal. But let's go through announcements right now. Let's take a minute or two and talk about Catalyst being paused. And it doesn't seem like there's any kind of time frame. Let's dish on Catalyst for a moment. Like because seems like I've met everybody here through Catalyst. So let me bring up the update. It's right here. And it says, today we're sharing an important update. Recent months, a decision has been taken to reassess the strategy, operations, and best path forward for maximum Cardano ecosystem impact. And this is really the meaty sentence. This has resulted in the pause to Fund 15, which was communicated in January. So they say they're pausing Fund 15. They're not pausing Catalyst. Yep. This is the thanks, Quasar just shared this link in the chat. They're saying that all the funds, everything everything that's been funded or in the pipeline is not impacted and will continue. Who has a Fund 15 proposal in that's waiting on voting? I guess that's where we are.
There's a treasury project by Blockprint.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Like a treasury dashboard. Yeah, the Blockprint one.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. Adriano and Game Changer has a couple in. I'm seeing in the chat. I would love to see some more transparency. Just like it just seems like they went quiet. I guess I always think of myself like, well, they were probably saying something during the town halls, although I went to a town hall and they didn't say anything. Um, uh, what would we expect to see? Like what is, yeah.
I mean, for me personally, I'm starting to wonder like how long will we, no matter which big name it is, whether it be like any of these organizations that are continuously funded by Catalyst, how long will we depend on Catalyst for funding? Like, is this, I I mean, I genuinely think we'll have to look at sustainability slightly outside of Catalyst, in my personal opinion, you know.
Yeah. I think that's where it gets us to, right? Like, and we've been talking about that for a minute. Um, and there are some ideas around that. Um, yeah. Yeah, yeah. One of the things is that basically what Catalyst does for us here, and this may be a hot take, is that it keeps all of this for free, you know? And what would it, I mean, we could talk about this later, but yeah, what would it look like if our treasury went to zero? Like what happens then? Like just let's put that in our hopper because we could discuss that in a bit. Q and Dagwell. Q first, then Dagwell. Oh, wait a minute, we're not hearing you, Q.
Well, oh, sorry about that.
Yep.
I don't want to jump to treasury being, what you said drained or anything, because Catalyst isn't that, and it really hasn't been there. And unfortunately, here's the scary part, y'all. Catalyst has more underwriting, more risk management and protection right now than the treasury it does itself. It's harder to get funding through Catalyst than it is the treasury. So pausing this puts everything back on the treasury. And honestly, this community, in my experience of 6 years, doesn't respond very well to these types of delays and lack of transparency. And things tend to get a little more aggressive or a little cutthroat. It's a scary thing. The Intersect is planning to be submitting their proposals, which is probably going to go into an ecclesia type thing again, end of February, 1st of March. Yeah, so this pause with Catalyst, the net change limit proposal that we should, get back to on that, all of these things line up to create something that we're not that great at mitigating understanding. So I feel like
Yeah.
there's a need for time and resources to be invested there.
Yes, for sure. Oh man, there's a lot that we'll come back to this because I want to stay in sort of announcement-y type stuff. But Dagwell, we can
Really
oh yeah,
Uh,
sure.
I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that much. I just think that in this community, we've had trouble setting up alternative methods of finance, which has kind of driven us towards a research grant model as a whole. So when you
Yeah,
kind of put that on pause, unfortunately, you kind of also put the wheels of innovation to a certain extent. We're going to be building, we build for free, but you understand what I
yeah,
mean. We don't have that alternate revenue source of VCs and things like that that are on an ongoing cycle as much as I do see in other chains. So I think it's a little bit of, you're not really only just taking away catalysts, but you're kind of taking away the way the community has been trained to bring new ideas about in hopes of funding incentive it. So that's all I want to say. Thank you so much.
yeah. That this model, and I think that'll like our because that's what we've done here. We've kind of taken on that sort of proposal and research grant model, that we have a treasury, and then our researchers or our builders make proposals on that treasury, and then as a community we decide. And that's a similar, it's kind of like our take on Catalyst. But are there other things? And we've got all this sort of DeFi, like new financial instruments. So yeah, but before we get too far down that, and I know that that's like a juicy thing, let's talk about Aomi do you want to talk about your space that you're hosting on Thursdays, and that I will be inviting all of the Gimbal Labs crew to sort of raid the space as it is, where we get a bunch of people into the space on February 19th. That's in a couple of weeks. Hey, Amy, do you want to talk about your space for a little bit? Uh, yeah, yeah. Hey, Amy, you out there? I can't. I can see you. Can I not hear? Can you hear me?
No, I can't hear Ayami as well.
G0. That's you, Harsh. I got you. I
Yes,
couldn't
G0.
hear.
Yeah. You got to know. You got to know the alias and stuff. Okay. She's smiling. Okay. Maybe you can put in the chat if maybe your mic is down. Uh, and then I'll find. Still can't hear. But we'll make a little announcement and then if hey save the date Thursdays at 2000, that's 8 p.m. UTC time, to hop onto X and you can chat with Naomi and her crew. And then on the 19th, I'll be there and inviting all the Gimbal Labs folks to show up and do a little thing. All right. After that, hey, Lewis, would you want to talk about give a little bit of an update to cats? And this is an ongoing project, something that we funded a couple of weeks ago. We approved or consented to, found no objections to.
Yeah, I could talk about that for a while.
Yeah,
So, where do I start? It's been what, 2 weeks so far? Since it's been 2 weeks, right? So the first
yeah,
week,
yeah.
I spent some
Oh,
time looking at the locations for the Airbnb, right? Um, the event is happening at two venues. One of them it's a place called Sarit Center. Now, houses around Sarit Center were way above our budget, so that means I had to look for other places, right? So the Sarit Center and Tamarind Tree, if you check the map, these are locations that are completely opposite each other. So I found a nice sweet spot in between. So at least guys can see Nairobi, right? As opposed to just in and out, in and out. It's like a long drive to each of the venues. So guys can, as I said, see Nairobi. Number two, number two, I don't know what the situation is in regards to the passports for everyone else. Number three is it may be also on such short notice that we decided to attend the event. I wanted to get a booth, right? I wanted to get a booth. I wanted my Gimbalabs and Andamio's name on the posters, So unfortunately, for you to get that, you have to book 2 months in advance. So I'm really trying to push
oh,
for a speaking opportunity because I also don't want this trip to be, oh, guys just came in and we saw each other. Okay, did you guys speak? Did you guys
yeah,
um, yeah, did you guys do something other than just attend? So I'm really trying to push for a
yeah,
speaking opportunity. I'm literally disturbing Darlington, man. At this point, I feel
yeah,
like if
yeah.
I send one more message, I'm on the verge of being blocked. So I don't really want
Don't
to do that.
just the edge. Just get to the edge of that. Yep, that's right.
Yeah, I've pushed his buttons way too much. And I don't want to bother him a bit. I want to bother him
Yeah,
anymore. So
yeah,
hopefully he
yeah.
gives us an opportunity to speak at the event. If not, he informed me that there will be breakout sessions and there'll be a corner where guys can like chill and hang out and talk and whatnot. And then after that, the yeah, there are also a few things I didn't know these guys were working on. So unfortunately, I don't know if we can attend them. But there's other extracurricular activities outside the main event. For example, there is do you know Nairobi? I think is the only capital city with a national park in the city.
In the
So
city, nice.
yeah, so guys are gonna attend that. There's also a Masai Mara night event. So guys also gonna attend that. And then what else?
Okay.
Yeah, that's all I have so far. So in
That's
regards to the
great.
budget wise, I have set aside only money for the food. So anything else,
Okay.
because everything else has been secured, the house and everything. So I have money for the food. That's all that's left. Hopefully that's be enough. I don't know about now
Okay.
Emmanuel and the merch, because I don't know if he's around. But we wanted to get like hoodies and t-shirts and whatnot for the
Oh,
5 days we'll be here. So now that's it.
that would
It's
be, yeah,
expensive
that
right
we
now.
were talking about that is, and that's sort of a way to participate is like if you're walking around the conference and you've got a Gimbalabs or block print
Yeah,
merch or a hoodie on or giving things away or something like that, that would be pretty cool.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Thanks for
So,
that update. Yeah, man.
oh yeah, okay, yeah.
And Ayomi, I see you've got your hand up. How you doing?
Yes, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you.
Okay. So I wanted to say a few things on what Lewis just said now.
Sure.
Concerning was trying to push maybe the reps from Gimbalabs can like speak at the summit, right? So I was thinking, how about if Lewis can, that WADA is actually the organizer of the CAT summit. So how about you just reach out to Sam? I don't know if you know Sam, because Darlington, Darlington
Oh, yeah.
is the president of Nairobi Blockchain Center or something. So he's more like just partnering with WADA. So WADA is actually the organizer of the summit. I was thinking if you
Okay.
can just reach out to WADA directly, or because there is a form I saw online if you want to apply
Mm-hmm.
to be a speaker at the summit. On the
Mm.
website. I think it's actually on the website. Maybe you should also check that out.
Sounds good.
Okay, okay. I don't know Sam, but Darlington and a guy called Don Bosco are
Yeah.
working on something. I know it's really last minute, so I'm pretty sure they're trying to align the speaking schedule with adding a new speaker into the schedule. So hopefully I'll get something before next week.
Okay.
Or yeah, hopefully. I don't know who Sam is. Maybe I should also reach out to him.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. If they're getting to no traction with Darlington, yeah, try a different one. Don't antagonize the guy. But, it's also good to antagonize him. Um,
I,
all right. All right.
I
I
know how to click
feel
buttons.
Yeah. But I feel like good things are happening there. I'm really excited that we're connected and sending a
Yeah,
contingency there. I think it's
yeah,
super cool. I'm glad that even if just you get to hang out with the Blockprint guys, Emmanuel and
yeah.
who else is it Jethro or Gideon going? Um, then
It
that'll be
was
cool.
Ahmad. Ahmad is going.
Ahmed,
Ahmed is
Jethro,
going.
Emmanuel.
Yeah, yeah, nice,
Yeah.
nice.
I've also realized one thing maybe for the Buenos Aires trip, it costs way
Okay.
more to plan for the trip than the actual trip.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
So
Buenos
yeah,
Aires is. Yeah. Q gave us the, like it's incredible down there. It may be too, I don't know. I don't know. I think it's too close now. But speaking of that, let's go over, Dagwell, would you want to like give sort of still in this sort of announcement sort of section of like, what is some tooling for governance that you were working on, or you wanted to shout out something? Is something ready to share?
Oh yeah,
Um,
there sure is. I think that if I'm correct, I think Q was using it as his background. Um, and we're just yeah, we're just so right now I've took arduous task. I'm not saying that I'm going to keep going this way, but since I have really nice server situation, kind of like a gig of RAM and stuff, I have some GPUs. So I have some LLMs set up. In one of them, since I'm running DB Sync, I run the whole Cardano backend pretty much on like both chains. So I have DB Sync going natively. So really gives me the opportunity to really do some custom views, to do some information pullback. So we just created right now. It's funny, we developed it with the brains out first. So you can go in, you can ask the agent, hey, how many how many blocks have 0 transactions? Or you can say, tell me the details of proposal number 5. And then, so what we realize is there's so much, and it'll bring it back. So we realize there's so much information out there. And, if you like, it's cool when you go look at like Mesh. I love that. I love Mesh. I love how they've done it. I love how everyone's done it. But here's a little something. They're doing it how they think that you want them to do it. They're like, I know you want to see these stats, right? You want to see these stats, right? They're still forming a narrative for you. They're still like, the intersect community, these guys are the people that we want you to look at. Like, oh yeah, thank you for forming that. Oh, these are the important people. So like, I still think everybody who's making an app is looking at it from that perspective. Like, hey, we're going to show you the view that we want. Yeah, of course you are. Now, listen, they're doing it excellently. Please don't think that I'm trying to, because I'm not. These are valuable tools, and this is how people are trained to absorb the information. It's not rocket science. This is how we've been building it from the get-go. But I want people to be able to go in and say, hey, what is a DREP hash for this group? Get it. And guess what? When it brings it back, you can just click it, click the link. The link goes to my Explorer. It brings back the page of the DREPs. You can see their stuff. So that's why I said I'm bringing the brains out first, because on top of the agent, we're sitting on an Explorer. Like it's all the chain, bro. Oh, and also it's a pre-prod Explorer. If you want to go look at your assets and see what your NFTs look like on pre-prod, you can just connect your wallet to pre-prod and look at it. We do so much developing there. But just being able to, hey, say, what is this proposal? Pull it back, click the DREPs, click the proposal and see who voted for the proposals, just to be able to have the chain. I want to be able to talk to the chain. That's what I'm doing. I love the interfaces. I love the time you guys are spending on it. But what I want is to be able to ask, and then you use your interface to fill the information that I'm asking for. Like that's what we're doing. We want to make it open source. We want to just make where people can just right now, I can already ask it a question from a curl API anywhere and get a response back. And this is a response that, it's real time because it's going off DB Sync, pre-prod or mainnet. I have it set for mainnet right now. I haven't had that availability. So, it's real-time analytics. So our next thing is, I don't know, we saw the mesh map and I got a little discouraged, but just being able to show a visual map of relations between proposals and DREPs in order of voting power and rationale and things in a visual. So that's what we'll be putting out next week, because it's like I've already built the means to be able to talk to the database in real time. So now it's what information do I want to pull back? It was kind of hard getting into like all the rationale off-chain data. You know what I mean? Like it's stored in some weird places.
Yeah.
So being able to build directly on top of DB Sync, not having to rely on Koios or Ogimos, because once again, you're looking at their views. I thank God that they're doing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to discourage you from using those tools, because I use them for transactions, because our tools are built around them. But we just want to be able to allow people on onboarding. Here are the 10 questions that all the onboarders want to know, and be able to get real time, not something that's static, something that it's going to recalculate. You're going to find out what it is today. Voting power, how many votes are active today. So that's what we're bringing back. If the brain is exposed right now, we're going to put a skull around it. We're going to put some skin around that. We're going to put some eyes in there. So it might not look like it looks. You might not be able to just interact with the brain in the future. In the future, it might be, a different. Anyway, and there's I just want to put one more thought because I have builders out here, and this is something that came to me, and I freaking love it.
Nice.
When I'm looking at DB Sync, I realize that you can query assets. We can put things on assets as we query them to be directions for queries. So you can put SQL queries in the metadata of an asset, query that metadata from any block explorer, and then on the metadata, it can read the SQL and know how to extend the view to get the information you need. I call them anchor assets. Anybody could do them.
Ooh, I like it. An anchor asset with an embedded SQL, like so
Yes,
that
sir.
it knows how to search for those other, like
Yes,
where
sir.
those IPFS and other things are out there.
Yes, sir.
Anchor
Yes, sir.
asset. Beautiful. Okay. All right. All right. Um, you know, yeah. All right. Well, one thing first off, just to wrap that up, and then Harsha will keep us on track. Um, Opportunities. Like there are a lot of developers here listening in the audience now, and also listening on YouTube. They're in different time zones or whatever. One of the things that we always are looking for here is how to coordinate and how to like get people involved. If you have like an ongoing meeting, or if you have a space where you're like encouraging, others to come and join and work, um, please let us know, because that could be an exciting opportunity for the both of us to build things that solve problems that are meaningful to us and to everyone. Yeah. Actually, with that in mind, Dagwell, if I want to hold you up on the stage one more time, because connections are another thing that we make, and even if it's just sharing the contact information with your creator designer friend there in Nigeria. I don't know if she's in the city of Lagos, but I think we've got several. Jethro's here, Gideon's here, Naomi. I think they're all from Lagos. Abiodun, hey Abiodun, where are you from? I think you're somewhere in Africa. But that would might be a really good connection to make. Local is great. If somebody knows anybody in NYC, please let me know because I would love to connect. Next time I'm in Florida, I definitely want to drop by Q. Um, all right. All right. So with that, let's go to our next item. So I think we just got through agenda, and now there's, hey, we're back to this part. Let me share my screen, where if you have a proposal, you can like this is where we're at now, right here. Call for proposals. Does anyone have like a proposal? They're like, ooh, I've got a project, and there's an opportunity for Gimbalabs members, or like that if you need some financial assistance, they need a couple hundred to a couple of thousand ADA to sort of get things off the ground. This is where you can uh, let those things be known. And we have a proposal format, and most everything runs on proposals here. So if there's anything in there, or if we're in the process, like a consent process for other proposals, now would be the time to say, oh, we're in the middle of the consent process for my proposal. Does anybody have one like that? Harsha's going to check the chat for me. I'm checking the chat. Nice. Okay. Um,
Jethro
Jethro,
has his,
Jethro.
yeah.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. So I can't remember his name. He said he wanted some subtitles for the video we worked on, the PBL video course for
Oh,
the. I think he's White Hat. I don't know if that's his name. So he said he wanted some subtitles for the videos we worked on. So I asked him what videos. He said all the videos. So I don't know if it's possible. Yeah, if it's possible to get all the videos on Andamio, so I can get some kind of subtitles translation for them in their native language. So I
Oh,
don't.
translation. Yeah, translation would be good.
He said he wanted them in all the videos on Andamio. I don't know if that's possible. So I was confused that all the videos, that would be a lot of
I,
videos.
that could be a lot. Like here are all the you know, Aiken mesh, mesh,
Yeah,
mesh, mesh,
there are a lot of videos there.
and this one, and then this one is sort of the flagship, this Plutus,
Yeah,
which is your, those are the big three. Um, but yeah, there's a lot. But translation is a thing, and subtitles are a thing for sure. Um, we could look into that for sure, for sure.
yeah. So I was thinking I should write a proposal concerning that. So I
Yeah.
don't know if we just start with the PBL video course, the one we did last year. Maybe we start with that and then see how it goes.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So
Okay.
I
Okay,
will read.
that's a good one to get on the radar. And
Yeah.
now
So
the the way to do it is to grab this proposal template, and I think it's right up on the top of this, and see, right up here, there's a how to present a proposal to Gimbal Labs.
yeah.
Or maybe it's this one. So here's the this is like kind of some legal ease. Okay, here's the proposal template. You can draft a proposal. You can use this proposal template if you're not on Notion, which most aren't. I should put in we do have a Google document of that, and then share the idea in the Discord or the open space, and then we'll do our process and we'll get feedback and we'll align with the driver, and then we'll do a formal consent, which is basically bubbling up objections and sort of tapping into the intelligence of the community here. And then once it's consented, then we coordinate for the payments and other type of what do you call it, ongoing project management, milestone calendar listens, milestone tracking, all that sort of stuff. Anyway, that's
So
how that goes. Yeah.
yeah, the main issue now is he said he want the subtitles to be in Indonesia. So I don't speak the language. I only speak English. So
Yeah.
I don't know how it will work. So I'm trying to consult with him. So maybe I just get the subtitles in English, and then somebody from their end that speaks English and understand Indonesia would work on converting the subtitles. So I'm
And then yeah, and also because it's a big effort and there's a lot there, you can also look into automated tools. Um,
I
you
mean,
know,
there
there,
are automated tools like Premiere Pro, like does like a auto, it gives like subtitles by itself. Similarly,
yeah,
YouTube itself like gives
yeah,
subtitles, and you can directly like put it into like a translator, like an AI, and then it gives a translation.
okay. Okay.
yeah. And that might get like most of the work done. So instead of like having to pay an hourly rate for 100 hours, maybe it's just like editing, like pay $100 for the AI tool for a month, and then get like it to where they're just doing, just the, polishing it up. It becomes a much more manageable task with an automated service. And that's one of the things that I think Gimbal Labs could do. Like one of our focus is like getting people to live meetings. Um, that's we feel like just from the very beginning, like getting people in touch. Actually, what Gagwell said is just like when you meet somebody in real life, like after Harsha and I have never met in real life, we talk to each other every day on the interwebs. I hear his voice, I see his face every day. When I see him in real life, it's gonna blow me away. It's just totally blow me away. Same with all the folks here. you know, especially people that are far away, like different time zones. Like, yeah, it's just a thing. But one of the things that another one is building out a tool like our Asteria project or learning projects, you know, taking courses, working on courses. Those are focus. One of the focuses that I think is important is getting, because it's small. It's just like, yeah, I need $100 uh, to get a year subscription to a note taker. I think to test it out, to use it, to bring it in. I can hear Harsha objecting already, but I think that those things, if that is a barrier to your contribution, especially with all this new stuff that comes out all the time, like what's the latest thing, the Clawbot or whatever they're calling it now, Open Claw. Like somebody should be investigating it and get some money from Gimbalabs and then talk to us about it. You know, so we all don't, and it's just learning in a network and then sharing that learning and giving the incentive to share that learning, because you're not going to share learning if you don't have an incentive. Why write a summary report unless you're some type of super unicorn? Like that's the reason to, if it gives you an incentive to work as a network, learn as a network, build as a network. Those are the things that we want to do, because once the ball is rolling, then it sort of self-sustains. You know, that's that what do they call it? The infinity machine, or the, what do they call that? What's that? The science fiction thing? The perpetual motion machine. You know, that's what we're looking for. All right. So some proposals there. Let's talk about Catalyst in our last 20 minutes. I felt like that was a pretty juicy one, and we've got Q here, and we've got like Roberto. Is he still about? Yeah, hey, Roberto's still here. I definitely want to check in on this South Park episode about the deep oil horizon. And because it feels like it's a pattern. It feels like it's a governance pattern of just saying smoke screening. My fifth grade teacher at Christ the King School, Mr. Greg Green, my one male teacher in a neighborhood that had no dads, in all of my schooling that had no dads. I had one dad, Mr. Green, in the fifth grade, and he was just like, "You guys are just doing a smoke screen. Like you are just smoking everybody. Like you're not telling the truth. You're just lying." Like, and I don't know if the fifth grade is about the time when you stop, when you sort of like, oh, I'm lying about most everything when adults talk to me. But what would we expect from a government or a community-led administrator? Like, what would we expect from them? Because I love Catalyst, and I'm generally of the like mindset of like, okay, they're doing their best and whatnot. I don't sort of jump to my initial reaction isn't like to think of it like nefarious, but what would we expect? And like, how can we work towards that expectation? All right, Q. Let's hook it up.
So
wait a minute. Yeah, we go.
Yeah, sorry about that. I would hope that we could realize that it's no longer IOG and IOG Catalyst. It's no longer their decision to make with CF and Intersect. They're saying they're going to have meetings, cross-entity meetings every day for the rest of the month. The Catalyst is still Treasury. It is the community's VC program if we want to make it that. I would expect the community to say something along those lines. And I would also expect the community to be innovative and look back at things that have happened. You've got Builders DAO with Clarity, what they're doing, taking on funded proposals and stuff. That's offboarding them. What if we did something similar where people that had proposals that went unfunded, but they actually completed them, unfunded people, but they still built the product.
Right.
an exact opposite, and provided some support right there. The catalyst, here's what I expect is a lot of the community's at a point right now where it's tough out there. This delay is going to make it tougher. The NCL not pass also adding to it. So there's got to, I would hope to think that the entities realize that they need to mitigate this, and the only way to do it is with some sort of certainty of some financial support. Like we do have the treasury. It's not IOG. CF could easily put in some money for this. They put in 50,000 USD back in Fund 4. Other than that, they have done nothing but voted, and they got paid voting rewards every time they voted. So
Yeah.
I don't want to hug the mic. I'd like to have a conversation with them, to be honest with you, because I think that we've been looking at it in ways that it's not manageable. Is it an innovation fund, or is it decentralized governance experiments? Can it be both
That's
effectively?
a good difference. That's a good uh uh difference. An innovation fund versus open governance experiment. Um, that's
And
smart
it's
thinking.
great to split them out, And also, here's another thing, if I may, and this will be the last one. Last fund, they tried quadratic voting. They took away it after they saw the results. They said they were going to share results. And to this day, I haven't searched diligently like I normally would. I haven't seen the results, but I'll start asking now that this is back up, because it's important. It's our data. We shouldn't have to beg for it. That's
Ooh, now that's
fund.
something that
We have to beg to participate and decide its future.
so that data angle, like it's our data, like it's community data, like we all put into it, we vote, we do all these things, we interact, like those data points should definitely be. And didn't they? Isn't it like? Yeah.
If I may, real quick,
Yeah.
back to the projects and things. I'm trying to do continual spaces on the constitutional debt, which kind of includes this catalyst conversation. These are Twitter spaces. I want to go back to the roots and do a Cardano lore book club, which is what brought me to Cardano. That's what I like, reading the books from, Byron, Shelley, Gauguin, not really, but Basho and Voltaire, and look at Cardano through, through the roadmap, through the errors. And those are the two biggest things that I personally have that I don't know if it's into Gimbalabs anyway at all. But
Yeah. No, I definitely think there's some overlap there. Well, definitely let us know about those X spaces. Um, yeah. The data, because as a builder, and I mean this is what Andamio is doing with the API. It's like it is about like ownership of data. When people talk to me about the blockchain, it's like, why is the blockchain? It's about this, owning data. Go ahead, James.
Oh no, keep going with you were onto
Well,
something there.
yeah, I mean, it. I think that might be the big mind shift is a domain of one's own, self-sovereignty. We're interacting with all these machines and tools and user interface, end user license agreements and stuff. And I feel like there's something we'll look back in 20 years from now, we'll look back and be like, oh, how we just didn't even see this thing. And I have a feeling it's all about data. Actually, Dagwell like literally put good words to it about, and I remember this. I learned this when I was doing the trading platforms. I was like, they're not showing me what I need to see because I was working with a friend who so much, and he would say, "Oh, I bought it on the dip. I bought it down here," and blah blah blah. I was like, "You were looking at the 5 minute view. Like, what are you doing, man?" Like, he's like, "Oh, it's put it in the thing." I was just like, "No, this is like," and it didn't. That was the one time when I jumped to sort of nefarious stuff, and it's unregulated. They used to do this with actual financial markets. They called them penny shops or bucket shops in New York City, right here. because they were like bumpkins would ride the train from Pennsylvania, and they would be like, "Oh, I'm in a big in the stock market," and it was just a big show. It was like The Sting. It was like that movie, The Sting, and you're just like, dudes, we're totally falling for the shit that they fell for 100 years ago. Anyway, but now that we have access to data, and Dagwell's like, I want to give these model access where somebody's not giving you an interface, that you create your own, and that the interface can sort of mold to you. It's a magical time. It's a magical time. All right, that's what I that's what I had.
It's
I
a
saw
magic. So no, I want to grab what Quasar was saying just because, and I think it's good to mention CB DAO, right? And there's others that are doing this administrative work. Um, and I have a long history with Catalyst, and it's made life harder more often than it's made it easier. But right, what's the reward been? Relationships that I couldn't have gotten anywhere else, right? So I know it's a complicated relationship we all have with it. Um, but but right now, as at other times in the history of Catalyst, I'm not satisfied with the level of transparency we're all getting into what's going on, right? And I think that's what we're sharing in this moment. But at the same time, if I take the most generous approach, right? Like what might be the reason for this slowdown right now? I have no idea. I have no visibility into what's happening behind the scenes right now. But if I had to guess, it has something to do with being compliant, right? Like making sure that this program and the way it is distributing money on a global scale is compliant with any number of jurisdictions in which it's operating, right? And if that were the case, that would represent a lot of work, right? That needs to be done behind the scenes to get us back to a happy state. Now, I have no idea if that's true. It might be something else, but what I would encourage everybody here to do is your own thought experiment. Hey, what could the reasons be for this slowdown right now? And based on that, we might take action, right? We can look to CB DAO and we say, well, they set an example for what you have to do to be compliant in a way that you could deliver on the goal of funding worthwhile projects, right? And if we were to look at that as an example, why not Gimbalabs, right? Why not taking on the work of doing some of that administrative overhead to build something that is more transparent than Catalyst, that builds upon the system we've been prototyping here together for years now? We could figure out how to scale what we do on Thursday open spaces, going through this S3 style proposal process, right? But if we did, we'd want to be compliant from day one so we could be as transparent as we expect other people to be from day one. But that's the fork in the road we're at, right? There is a Cardano treasury now that if the administrator is sufficiently set up, could be a gateway to those kind of funds, right? Catalyst started with 250,000 ADA. That was fund one, right?
Yeah.
What's stopping Gimbalabs from building the administrative and compliant infrastructure to put in a modest treasury request, 250, 500K ADA, show what we can do with it, right? But I think that's a really exciting thing for us to start thinking about together right here.
Okay. One thing is that this what is Catalyst and what are treasury withdrawals? And that right now with no Catalyst, it's all treasury withdrawals. So that is one thing if you've got resonance with that. Abiudun, what do you think of? What are you feeling?
All right. Thank you, Newman. And that was a very good one from James. All right. But with my rooted knowledge in governance, having studied Catalyst for a while, I think that I would say that yeah, slowdown in transparency is lack of a public audit trail. You know, auditability is the root of governance. When people cannot be audited, it gives room for lack of transparency. So I think there are lack of public audit trail, and this off-chain voting doesn't really make any sense, honestly. All right, when people catalysts occur on a side chain, their testnet environment is an off-chain voting. All right, so I really think that if we're actually building something, as James has said now, we can actually look at all this. All right, insufficient accountability, you know, and some other things. But I'm more of auditability. A system that cannot be audited will lack transparency. You know, we need proper auditability for governance. People must be auditable, you know, systems must be auditable, the environment must be auditable. I think that's my contribution here.
Beautiful. Yep.
Oh,
Berta.
and hearing you guys and prefacing this by saying that I'm not nearly as involved and don't have like not even the 10% of the context that a lot of the people here have about everything that's going on in the ecosystem, and that's very much on purpose. It's enough to drive you crazy. But I think my problem with Catalyst is that it seems to me to have some sort of identity crisis because it acts like a corporation or a company, where in my eyes, it is a public institution. It runs on public funds from the ecosystem, and it has, to me, a mandate to behave as such. My hope with blockchain was that that kind of institution that is highly constrained on what it can do and what it needs to report to the public would be more efficient using blockchain technology. But instead, they've just focused on reporting as if we're this some sort of public company, and they report on KPOs. And it's really funny to me to see those reports from Danny or whatever on, oh, these many projects are closed out. Why? Yeah, I've seen reporting on Catalyst. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. We just had the experience. There was a whole bunch of drama for this project about whatever, because someone took a look at the evidence and it was like, this means nothing. This adds no value to the ecosystem. And who knows how many projects exist like that were closed out and they mark off as a win where there's no such thing. So that's kind of the main problem I have with Catalyst, is that kind of behavior of, we don't need to explain that much to you guys. You need to trust us. And what annoys me is that the most toxic place in the world, that is Twitter, is suddenly incredibly complacent with these guys. And there is no pushback, no questions. It's like, oh, thanks for the update. The update says nothing. Oh, thank you guys. You are awesome. Keep up the good work. We trust you guys. I don't trust these guys. I don't care how good of a guy or how charismatic Chris or Danny are. I'm sure they're good guys, but there's a lot going on behind the words, behind what they're saying, that is not explained. And they have, in my mind, an obligation to explain themselves because they're using public money. It's not their money. So that's kind of my problem.
Good
What I
point.
hear you
That's a
saying
good point.
is you don't believe that Catalyst has a 100% ratio of producing successful projects. Like there's not been any failure. Like, well, maybe not 100%, but you know, for an innovation fund to bring blooming ideas, you know, for that much success, where's the output? I mean, that's the KPI driven reports and design of the system that it is.
Yeah. Okay. Shaggy, Samuel.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you now.
All right. I really like that this is a conversation here because I think it is existential crisis to Gimbalabs. And I hate to put it that way, but you know, I'm a very loud critic of Catalyst. I do not think the system has served Cardano very well. However, in the same, literally the same hand, I have been able to experience benefit from the Catalyst funded Gimbalabs community. So that being said, like I think it's very good that we are able to look as Gimbalabs community members, just look objectively at it. Catalyst has a lot of issues that has been long-standing problems. We probably should really pivot more towards, I know Quasar mentioned it earlier, Intersect and their omnibus budget process. That needs to probably be the alternative we're looking at, because outside of us getting Builder DAO funding, which I think is more geared towards enterprise from my understanding of it, you know, and like for profit type deal. I think that's really where, outside of like direct, you know, founding entity partnership funding agreements or whatever, like I think Intersect is where Gimbalabs needs to be looking right now. Just in the possible case where Catalyst is no longer a thing or is changed beyond a point where Gimbalabs can participate, you know, the whole concept of not having multiple proposals running at the same time, that kind of pushes Gimbalabs towards like an omnibus proposal thing where Gimbalabs would have to put in a proposal that covers all of their things. And I think that that's going to be a lot harder of a selling point. You know, and it may not even fit any of these categories, like in certain Catalyst rounds. So just something I really wanted to point out. I'm trying to be as objective as possible with this. And I hope that that did not, you know, I'm interested in, you know, the thoughts here of Gimbalabs.
No, man, that was beautiful. That was beautiful.
Go Shaggy.
That's right. Dagwell.
Man, I was gonna say, what up, Shaggy? I was like, I love that guy. Every time I hear him, come on, I gotta say something. But also at the same time, the data, the audibility of it. That I heard another caller speak on that earlier, and that's something that I don't think it's nefarious, but what I also think is there's not steps taken to make it more transparent. And just because I've been digging in DB Sync and whatnot, just trying to find off-chain data, just trying to find the registration on-chain, just trying to mix all that and bring back all the information. This could be placed in an easier bucket that's on-chain that's easier to get to, but they put it behind stuff. I'm telling you, the data is not as easy as it needs to be to get it. No one's going to go there. That's super wonky. I get it. No one's going to go through digging through all that stuff. I'm just telling you, it should be easier to pull back. And it's not. So there's not been direct effort to try to get that process easier. And that kind of upsets me. Another thing when it comes to withdrawals, what Shaggy was saying, I'm just going to say it silly. Like, what? You guys aren't putting in with treasury withdrawals? Like, you guys, oh my gosh, like, what's going on? You guys are the OG. What the hell? No, seriously. I'm going to have to get passionate right now for a second because everyone else has been in the state and they don't even have the perspective on how it changed, man. You guys are, please, can we just do it, man? I don't know what's going on. James, I'm not trying to be rude, but I've been looking through proposals on chain for about 3 or 4 months digging through the data, and everything I'm seeing is not cool. Oh, we need liquidity. We need to pull 150 million to set up a community to find out how to pull more money. You guys are OGs, bro. I don't understand. You guys are doing stuff. This needs to be done. Move it to the top. You guys deserve it. You deserve it. The community deserves to vote on this because it made the community. I'm done. I'm sorry. I get upset sometimes.
Don't get too upset, but thank you for the passion. Thank you for the passion. And that's that. I definitely think that could be a proposal. Like, I mean, even if it's just as a thing to work through the treasury system, like this is how you do it. These are all the fields. These are all the forms. That'd be a great learning opportunity. Oh, I just looked down at the time. Harsha, do you see the time?
I do.
I think we should extend for 2 minutes. Let's hear a final thing from Quasar, and then we'll have a little rounds of goodbyes. I hate to cut it off because this has been super great.
Thank you guys. Thank you, Newman. Thanks everybody. If you're looking to do a treasury proposal withdrawal, should be prepared to have it ready before the last week of February.
Okay.
So working on one for the
Is-
constitutional debt. I'd love to be part of this, of a design of a catalyst or what have you.
Okay.
And I can go talk about this all day. Catalyst was so much of my identity. When I stepped away, I was really hit with an existential situation. You know, it was a big part of me.
Ooh, yeah. With that, and I that's juicy thoughts for next week. And let's be on the Discord. I think that this is a proposal idea. Create a treasury withdrawal or treasury info action, and see what we can come up with. Hey, thanks so much, everybody. If you're watching on YouTube, hey, join the Discord. Come and visit. Do this live with us. It's a cool thing. We are out there. Thank you for attending. Goodbye, everybody. See you, Jethro. Hugh, thanks for participating. Roberto, Jaggy. Yep. Bye, everybody.
Shagwell, love y'all.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Take care.
Yeah, me. Bye.